I'm going to do stretches using the rope and the bar, and maybe the ball and wedge pillow. So overall stretching, feel free to join me if you have questions. Feel free to ask questions. You can also contact me via other social media, Messenger, Instagram, and TikTok with the same name. Okay, so I'm gonna start to stretch. You can join me if you like. So ropes. I'm going to do 3 counts each. This is for the chest and the rotator cuffs. And one arm for a deeper stretch for one side of the body. I can also do a twist so that it's deeper for the chest. And across. So for the across, arm across, I'm going to change the tool I'm going to use. A shorter rope. This is for the posterior deltoid, back of the arms, back, and it's still the rotator cuffs. And I can also stretch this way to stretch the front, anterior deltoid, the chest, upper psoas. To do the other side, feel free to join me or you can just watch if you like. If you have questions, I'll be checking it later. For the meantime, we're just going to carry on with the stretches for the day. And then you can separate the ropes a bit farther from each other. Kanina wide, this one a little narrow. And I can also do a little crossover and other side with the back. Still using rope training, but different rope. So now this is a longer single rope. I'm just going to do 3 counts each. My objective for the day is to do an overall stretching of all the muscles, rotator cuffs, flexors, front of body, back. So this is a twist for the spine. Feel free to be inspired or get some tips how you can also do your stretching. I can also, since this is a longer rope, I can squat both arms, lower, extended arm, elbow bend, and up. Oops. Then I can also go lower for the squat with parallel feet and narrow legs. Other side with the back. Okay. Changing again the rope I'm using. And I'll just stretch my back, my glutes, my hamstrings, and I can do a low squat again and pull. I can also suspend to the back. I'll probably be changing the position of the camera in a bit. I'll turn off the fan because it's quite noisy. Okay, another type of rope. This is actually a booty band that I attached to the wall. So it has what you call this? It has resistance or rather elasticity. So this is for the rotator cuffs. And 3. Stretches deeply in the chest area. I'll do the same to the other side. More stretches using different types of tools. Doing an overall stretching of the rotator cuffs and the chest. Then later the lower body. I'll probably cut the live and re-live again for the lower part. So I'll just do the upper part first, or standing exercises. this is for the chest and the upper shoulders. Let's try another tool. So different types of resistance band, different lengths, different intensity, and only one, because I want to use all the tools for the band. Same exercise I did a while back. This is for the chest, rotator cuffs, psoas, and obliques. So now let's try another type of resistance band. This one is quite long. It's actually a loop. So since it is long, I'll shorten it a bit and bring it all the way to the back. But if you're a beginner, don't do this because it's quite dangerous. You might break your shoulder joint, or rather injure your shoulder joint. This is quite difficult to bring it all the way to the back. So let's just consider myself as an intermediate advanced level for the rotator cuff muscles, because I used to pole dance, and, well, I can still pole dance, but I want to train first. And up for the chest, side as I did a while back, back. Okay, I'll read some comments while I rest before I resume using other types of band. Maybe one for the road. So this is a tubing, and I'm going to stretch your rotator cuff still in the chest. So from another angle, it looks this way. This is quite not easy if you're a beginner. Again, rotator cuffs and chest. Okay, let's use another tool again. This one again is a well, it's a booty band, but it's already old, so it broke or ripped, and it's very short, so it's very difficult. But I can still rotate all the way to the back. But you see the band goes lengthens when it reaches the back. So from another angle, and diagonals, diagonals. So what do I do on a daily basis? Well, if there's a client that I need to massage, I will massage the client. But now I've been starting to train myself. So this is another type of resistance band. It also has elasticity. Others don't, like the yoga rope don't have elasticity. So I'm pulling it apart. I can also do front raises to strengthen the deltoids or the shoulder area. I can also stretch the anterior deltoid or the front of the chest, or I can also do a back bend. So this is quite difficult while arching the back. And I can also do a different hold for the rope. Now this is quite short, so it will be very difficult to bring it this way, but I'll try. So upward, and then meets the other arm below and push it. There's resistance because the tension is quite difficult. There you go. And so the other side looks this way. So this exercise is not necessarily for beginners. It can be for dancers or athletes or those who do racket sports. From here, I can even rotate my arm this way. So what am I training for? I'm training for pull. So now let's do enough with the band. I'm just going to use the bar. There's horizontal bars here, and I'm going to stretch my back. So you can use tools such as this. So it's not too difficult for the fingers or the digits. And I'm just gonna do a squat and arch my back. I can put my feet or face my feet to one side, to the right, then to the left. I can also tiptoe for the calves also and arch the back. To lengthen my torso, especially the gravity takes its toll, or I can do one arm higher, one arm lower, and switch. I can also go down lower, deepening the stretch in the glutes and the rotator cuffs, and lower while doing a squat. My knees are facing the wall and more lower. I can feel it pulling my rotator cuffs apart. Feel free to join if you like or ask questions. I'll be resting in a bit so I can read your questions. So I face my feet to the right and to the left. I can also, you can use this with your gate or a horizontal bar. I'm going to now separate the arms. So normally I train by myself, but now I'm enjoying you because you might pick up some tips. You can use your gate or your cabinet if what do you call it, the steel, the horizontal steel is sturdy. So it can also be wide, and I can also bring 1 foot forward, and it will be deeper in the glutes of one side of the body. And switch. So this is also a good stretch for those who do Latin dance or those who dance uh, and then lower again. So I just brought the arms wider. It can also be narrower. So you see I'm using a tool so that I don't injure my digits or my hands. And so if it's narrow, I'll just bring it together. So this will also be very good for those who will eventually do handstands. So you can have nicer form when you do handstands. And so same, I'm stretching my my deep stabilizing muscles of the back called erector spina muscles and some other rotator cuff muscles around the shoulder. So narrow arms, feet to the right, 1 o'clock, feet to the left, 11 o'clock. Okay, and I can also straighten my knees and stretch my back and the hamstrings, and I can go lower. But I'm quite flexible in the hamstrings, so there is really not much stretch for my hamstrings or back of the knee. So I just go lower and lowest. Okay. So a little more for the upper body before I close the live, but I'll see if you have questions. Okay. I have questions that I can answer. So Ezel says, hi, I'm from the Philippines. So I'm just stretching. Normally I stretch by myself, but now I'm showing you some stretches that maybe you can use using a bar or a chair or a pole or anything, or even the sides of the door. You can use that to stretch. I'll show you some stretches still for the rotator cuffs. I'll be using a pole, but you can use the side of the door or the edges. Okay, so let's do that. You can join me if you like. I'll move a little backward. So first is you can hold your gate or your bar this way, and you can also arch your back to stretch your rotator cuffs or under the armpits. Do that to the other side to stretch the armpits. So you can see this one gets tight as we get older, causing us shoulder pain, neck pain, and even back pain. Okay, you can also use both arms and stretch this way. But you will notice these are all flexion, meaning it's tightening my hip flexor. So for the hip flexor part, I will be reliving and doing focusing on stretches for the other half of the body. So now these are all for the upper, and this is also for the hips. So if I want to stretch deeper, I'll just go away from the pole. I used to do flags on the pole and horizontal pole tricks and illusion pole tricks. So stretches are okay with me. It's just that I need to train for strength to be able to pull, yeah, to do the pull tricks. A little further apart. So I used to spin this way with a pole away from me. I can also just pull the pole like this and stretch the hip. And the arm can just be on the side or on the waist. So this stretches the rotator cuffs, moves the arm away from you because gravity takes its toll wherein everything goes down. And so these are also called anti-gravity exercises or suspension exercises or traction exercises for that matter. Okay, wait. Okay, other side, just pull and pull further. Okay. A little more for the upper body. So I'm just gonna do a back bend. First, both arms. One arm, other arm to the bottom, arm to the bottom. So these are for my arch for back bends. Two arms rather. And I try to close my legs to make it more difficult and bring the big toes together. There. So this is quite difficult, but it can be more difficult if I bend my knees and go on the floor. So I'll do that probably later. Okay, so see, even if I'm just stretching, I'm gonna rest for a few seconds. So even if I'm stretching, wait, okay, how did her agility test go? She sounded, I'm sorry, client's texting me. So I'm just resting a bit. Okay, sorry. So I'm gonna continue on with my stretches and then I'm gonna end because to stretch it would be ideal for you to stretch 5 to 20 minutes. Normally people in the gym stretch for 5 minutes after they do their 1 hour or 1.5 hours workout, like 5 minutes stretching and maybe 10 minutes core training. But ideally, for aerial artists or pole dancers, stretching is a big part, and even for those who do martial arts. So I'm focusing on the stretching so that if I do pole, the stretches are really nice and the limbs are long with nice lines. So now I'm going to stretch. Probably I'll just carry on. It's I did 18 minutes of upper body stretching, and so now I'm going to show you some deep stretches using the pole. This is for if you really want to test your rotator cuffs, it's not really this way. Well, your rotator cuffs are stretched in a way, and if I do this, so it also stretches this part of the subscapularis and the teres minor major and the pectoralis, especially if I go a little forward. But I'll show you something that will really test your cuff flexibility. Is to do to go around the pole this way. So if you have a bar this way and then you go around, so I'm holding the bar. I'm just gonna change the position. There you go. So if you hold the pole this way and then I go around, this is already difficult. It's stretching my chest. And then if I go further here, it's stretching my chest further and my rotator cuff. Then this is my example, your right arm. This is my left arm because it's mirror image. And then you bring one leg to the back. This is very deep already. The tendency is you will move forward. So I try to open my psoas or the front of my body. And for a deeper stretch, I will like twine or spiral around the pole. So this is quite difficult. There. So this really stretches the rotator cuff. So from another angle, it looks this way at the back. And if you really want to know if your rotator cuffs and chest muscles are flexible, the back should not touch the bar. So it should look this way. So from another angle, it should look this way. So you will see my hand is a little hyperextended backward. So I'll stretch. It's a very deep stretch, but it can still go deeper. I'll show you later. I'll just remove this. But if well, I got this from online shopping, so this can also be gentle for the back. So how does it go? So if I go like this, so it's now gentle on my shoulder blades as I twine. And if I want to make this deeper, I just bring the arm and I look up. Actually, I can still go deeper by going down. So this is very, very deep. And there's suspension and anti-gravity, and it stretches the rotator cuff muscles. Okay, so now I'm going to finish off the stretches with lower body stretches. Okay, so I stretch all the upper part. Now, how do you stretch the back? You can go like this. And then in, like a cat cow in yoga. And there you go. What's the difference between just doing a cat cow on the floor? Very, very different because I'm holding something. So it's like it's pulling me up rather than just doing a cat cow on the floor. I'll show you later. Okay, so done with that. So I'm now going to proceed to the psoas opening, the back opening, deeper glutes opening. So I'll probably have to bring the camera a little downward so you can see if I. Sorry. Some people are messaging me. Okay, so now let's go. So first is, this is like my go-to. It's called the present pose, Anjaneyya Sana in yoga. And this is quite difficult for Caucasians also because you have tight hip flexor and quads. For Asians, I think they're more flexible. Not sure. So I'm Asian, I'm Filipino. And so this is a very deep stretch for the knee. If you have injury, this is not for you. I can tackle that some other time, or you can ask me questions. I have another channel for the rehab and that. So with this, it's deep knee stretch. Even if it's stretching, running out of breath, and maybe it's very hot, I close the door and the lights are on there. So this is a deep stretch. The tendency is your leg goes like this. So I'm aligning my leg for a really deep stretch for the psoas. So if I'm facing you, it looks this way. Now, the yoga mat may not be enough for you. What you do is you use a knee pad. So this is a knee pad. There's different thickness. You can use a thicker one or a not so thick one. Then you have thinner ones, so you can just use another yoga mat. But this doesn't have nice traction. It's quite slippery. So this is a deep stretch for the hip flexor and your body. Instead of like that, try to bring your body upright so that it's deep here. Now, I can also use the bar like this to make sure my alignment is perfect, that I'm upright with the bar or the vertical bar. And make sure the leg is not going like that or the lower leg, but like that to really stretch the hip flexor. So I'm gonna do that to the other side from another angle. So you see, so it brings you up, working on anti-gravity. Now to combine another exercise with this is a single leg stretch and just reach like that. So without the pole, it kind of looks like this. But with the pole, it can lengthen you both ways upward as you also stretch the back of the leg. I'm gonna do that to the other side as well from another angle. It looks like this. And I can bring my arm up. My other leg is backward and it stretches the back of the knee, which is quite difficult to stretch. Okay, now the third one is quite difficult. It's called the single leg pigeon. So you just bring it this way, and it might look like this already for you. That's okay. Until eventually your hip flexor goes lower down. And so it looks like this. My leg is inward or bent inward like that. So this is single leg pigeon. So you might just be able to do this. For me, I'm gonna stretch because I'm just enjoying you for my stretches. So this is my stretch. But I can improve by bringing my body more upward. And I shouldn't be twisting toward here. But the other side, to stretch a lateral part of the hip flexor. So I'm going to stretch also. And it has to land very flat so that my splits would look nicer and eventually do hyper splits. So now how to come out of this pose, just lay like this and roll like that. Bring the other leg to the back like this, and so and stretch like this. tendencies will look like this at first until eventually you can bring the body upright. That's why it would be nice to hold on to something like a chair. You can put your elbow on the chair to bring yourself upright. Opposite side of the leg that you are extending. Now, can we bring this deeper? I'll try. So to bring this deeper is I'll just bend the lower leg, which is very deep. Yeah, like that. But I still can't straighten my body too much here, like that. And so this is already very deep for my quadriceps and my knee. I used to do it with ease, but I haven't been stretching. So I'm just beginning again, and I'm also trying to get inspired by and joining you with my stretches. So let's do the other side now. Just come up this way, bring your leg this way, the other leg is this way, and okay. So now let's do another stretch. This is for the back. This is a head to knee stretch. You see, I'm just stretching, but I'm perspiring so much because it's really deep stretches. So I'll probably be ending the video soon. Feel free to post questions. You can contact me in my other social media accounts, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook with the same name. And so for here, just I bend my elbow and I bring myself like this. And I close the gap between my legs and my chest. There you go. And for a deeper stretch, I can also go opposite and drop the head. So I can literally lay on my shin. I can put my or knee, my cheek on my knee with ease. And I bring my other leg outward and do the same. I can also use this to pull myself forward, and close the gap between my chest and the front of my thigh or my quadriceps. There you go. I can look the other side. You can actually sleep here. I'm getting more flexible again because I have muscle memory because I used to be quite flexible. So though I'm making an effort now, it's not that much because there's already muscle memory of me being flexible from before. So I just need to bring that back. My knee is still bending when I move forward, so I'm trying to hold it straight so it won't bend. There you go. And I can also bring my hand to the opposite side and bring my body to that side, which makes the stretch deeper. I can also bring this leg away and stretch again. There you go. And bring my hand opposite. Okay. So just a few more stretches because I need to answer some texts. And so the end will be cobra. And so for the cobra, you can do a cat cow. If you have a chair, you can bring your hand this way or with me a pole. And this is the cat cow there. And to do the other side, you can also use a knee pad or not to do your cat cow. And so for my cobra, I'll just dip my hip like this. Walk your hands and dip your hip. Dip, sorry, dip your hip. My hip flexor has been tight. I haven't been stretching, especially with the cobras. So this is quite a bit of a challenge. So this is my cobra for now. It can do better. So I'm putting effort. And I'll just bend my elbow to the side to deepen stretch for the hip flexor. And then another challenge is to bring my feet together or my ankle to my ankle for a deeper stretch. Now I can also bring one knee outward for a deeper stretch for the extended leg and then stretch the hip flexor of the other leg next. And go back to cobra. I'll move a little forward so you can see. I can also use the pole, cross one arm and bring one arm up. And so I'm gonna do that to the other side as well. So I'm gonna be facing you. I can bring my hands higher to open my hip flexor more and dip. So that being said, so this is a very deep stretch for my chest, rotator cuff that is pulling me up very, very deeply because I do a lot of massages, not really a lot, but I massage practically every day. So this is a very deep stretch for my chest and I can really feel the pull um, in the rotator cuff area or armpits. So thank you for joining me stretch. If you want to join me again for my next stretching session, subscribe. Thank you. Bye. Feel free to ask questions. Bye. 30 minutes stretch.